Hi again. So our internet has been incredibly temperamental since yesterday morning probably. So I have not gotten part 2 uploaded yet. Hopefully by the time you see this one that will have sorted itself out. I did, let me go ahead and change this up a little bit so you don't have to look at me and you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so what I did do is I went with yellow first for the wording. I've kind of decided while the actual story itself is going to be hand lettered, my lettering skills are not top shelf, so I think when I add the story by and illustrated by, I'm going to do that on the computer after I scan this in. I also, although you can't tell, added white to my ghost. Pardon me, it's still allergies. What I wanted to show you today was, remember how I said, you know, it might not dry in the as nicely as you want it to look. So I have out my same color I used before. You can change colors if you wanted to brighten this up a little bit, which I mean we could do, but now I kind of like this color. So anyway, once everything is dry, you can go ahead and add more to the dry parts. It will behave pretty much the same as it did on that first layer, except it now has this base coat that it's working with as well. They do have pastel pencils in case you are looking for something that is a little finer pointed, because you are you know, at the mercy of whatever you can shape out, oops, sorry, whatever you can shape out of this little square block. So you know, if you are looking for something like that, the thing that I will mention though is that colors do vary between brands. I am currently using, no lie, mostly a very cheap set that I picked up of pastels that I picked up at Five Below one day while I was in there. I liked the range of colors that it had, and it has suited my needs. Every once in a while you might want to blow the chalk dust off. You're going to want to be careful because it will get on your fingers. Let's see if we can see. So you'll want to be careful when you touch other parts of your illustration in order to hold it steady. You could tape it down, but then you have, you know, paint edges to deal with. So for me right now, I'm just going to add my second layer. I'm not going to fill in the holes on the little tiny O's that are almost a period of ellipsis. Only I added 4 because I wanted them to be, you know, the ooh sound instead of just a general period of ellipsis. And you add your color over top. You want to be a little bit more careful around the edges of what you're doing this time, especially if you have other colors down. They will mix. So we have this lovely little extra layer down in all the places that we needed it. Blow the extra chalk dust off, because sometimes it does sort of get in the way. And then it's back to the brush and the water. Now, when you go around the edges of your other elements, it's a smart idea to pull away from the edges. That'll help you keep your edges a little bit more decent. Your brush will pick up some of this chalk dust and carry it to a new area. I don't know if you can see there. And when you dip it in your water, let's see if I can do this without ruining anything. I don't know if you can see, but the chalk dust will form a skim along the top of the water as well. So, you know, you do want to keep that in mind when you are switching colors. You do have to wash your brushes in the same way you would if you were using watercolors. I suppose I could get the smaller brush for that, huh? In the same way that you would for watercolors, because all of the pigment from the chalk is caught in the bristles of the brush, and that will carry over. You can't just swish it around in the water and expect it to become clean. You're going to have to use soap and water to get the brush actually clean. Now, I did have a little bit of carry over on that first layer with this bee, and I will have to sort that out when I get back into the yellow. Okay. But as you can see, a lot of the color up here has started to smooth out where I was using it, or I was using the water on this chalk. And that's a good thing. That's what you want it to do. It'll be a much more dense blue by the time it dries, and it will not be uniform, but it will be more so than it was before. Your paper is going to hold some of the pigment in pardon all the ums, it's a talking and doing other things thing. Your paper is going to hold the pigment in the little nooks and crannies, and it is going to make it difficult to make a solid block. That is, at least from my point of view, that is the one thing that digital art has on painting with materials such as this or watercolors. You are not going to get a completely uniform space. You can't just block it in. Now, acrylics are a little bit different. I am not a big fan of acrylics. I don't like the drying time. You have to work them so quickly. It's not my favorite thing to do. So I tend to avoid them. I will use them, on a project if I have to, or if if I'm doing work for a client and they want acrylics, of course I'm going to, kind of get over my aversion to them in order to give the client what they are looking for. If you are working on your own stuff, you are your client. You don't have to make yourself use something that you are less than comfortable using. And you can kind of, as you use the water, you can direct how you want your light and dark spots to land. You know, if you want an area to be lighter, add a little bit more water. Pull the chalk or the paint, if you're using watercolors, pull it away from that area. If you want it to be a darker, pull it into. There is no rule about how many layers of paint, or in this case, the chalk, the pastels. There's no rule to how many layers you can do. If you don't like this second one, if it didn't turn out how you wanted, or if you just have a spot that didn't turn out how you wanted, add more. Change color if you want. Like I said, they will blend. Also, do not be afraid to turn your picture in order to get better access to an area. If you get some chalk on, you can kind of, you know, clean your hands a little bit. You just want to be very careful when you touch what you're doing, because your fingers will also let's pull it off. You can get a clean brush. Sorry. You can get a clean brush and add more water and try to brush that little oops of pigment away. See? I was going somewhere with my other thing. Clean hands are a must when you are working on something with multiple colors. Even if you think that your hands are dry, sometimes the oils in your skin will pick up that pigment and transfer it in a way that you don't want it transferred. Again, around the edges, you want to pull it away from the edge, or along the edge. You can do along the edge too, if that works better for you. A lot of this is actually finding the way that works for you. You can study anybody else's technique all you want, but if their technique is not right for you, you are probably always going to have some sort of trouble with it. You can overcome it, you know, practice, practice, practice. You know, if you are looking to, say you want to do a picture in a style like one of the artists that you've seen, you can really study their style, look at how they use their brush, and in a lot of paints you can see brush strokes. In this you can see the direction of the brush strokes as well. I'm kind of being haphazard with it because that's the look that I am going for. Now, I have a feeling that since that first layer, I don't know if it's a it's a thing with the paper, or if it's a thing with how much chalk I had put down initially, or how much I have picked up, because like I said, your brush will pick up some of this pigment, the chalk, and it will carry it with it, which means that when you dunk it in the water, it carries it away. So there is you know, there is that as well. Now I have this one little part here that is actually just a show through, and you'll see it once I add in the details on this illustration. You'll see that this is basically a fold in the material of this ghosty outfit, and that is holding water really badly. You can pick water up if you have too much with a dry brush. There we go. And again, if you can see the blue coming off of this brush whenever I dip it and rub it over the things, if you want a clean-ish brush, dip it in the paint and keep working over that area, because I'm trying to pick up just a little bit of this run over here. Okay. Now, one of the biggest things that you're going to run into if you are just working on one picture, which is why I said if you're illustrating a whole book, it's a good idea to have all of your illustration ducks in a row, so that you can set this aside, let it dry, and move on to another one directly. Since I am only working on this one right now, we are back to drying time. Drying time is when you go and catch up on your laundry and your dishes and everything else. One of the things, I'm gonna put this back up. One of the things that I will be doing over the next few weeks is trying to shuffle this, the illustrating into the work that I need to do down at my mom's, and hopefully everything will sort itself out that way. So that is what we have for today, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you find it helpful. Please, by all means, drop me a comment. I would do that whole like and subscribe and everything, and I kind of did, you know, just because out of default. But if you're on YouTube, I think that everybody already knows like and subscribe if you like and subscribe and want to see more. So I hope that this helped. I hope that you know, everything is well in your life. Next video, I'm going to go ahead and get all of my colors finished blocking in. Like I said, it's layers. It's the same thing that you've seen now. So the next video that I put up will most likely involve the colored pencils so that we can start adding detail. I will talk to you all later. Enjoy. Bye.